served as a top political advisor to former President George W. Bush, a great American. Ted Bush is a graduate of Princeton University and Harvard Law School. Ted Cruz is the first Hispanic American to serve as a United States Senator representing Texas. Ted Cruz also was a master and champion debater. And I will tell you that as much as Ted Cruz loves our country dearly, he loves his wife, Hetty, and his daughters, Carolyn and Catherine. Would you please give a warm welcome to Senator Ted Cruz?
God bless the great state of New York. I am thrilled to be here with so many friends, so many patriots, so many lovers of liberty. I will admit to you, I haven't built any buildings in New York City. But I have spent my entire life fighting to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We are here this evening at a time of crisis for our nation. We're bankrupting our country. Our constitutional rights are under assault each and every day, and America has receded from leadership in the world. And yet I am here today with a word of hope and encouragement. I want to tell you something incredible is happening all across the country, all across the state of New York, and all across this nation. People are waking up. I believe this next election will be about three critical issues: jobs, freedom, and security. Let's talk for a minute about jobs. Today, we have the lowest percentage of Americans working of any year since 1977. People are hurting, and median wages have stagnated for over a decade. Today, we have single moms working 2 and 3 part-time jobs who've had their hours forcibly reduced to 28, 29 hours a week because Obamacare kicks in at 30 hours a week. We have truck drivers, steel workers, plumbers and mechanics, machinists and union members who are seeing wages stagnate year after year after year. The cost of living goes up, but their wages somehow don't seem to keep pace. We have young people coming out of school, buried in student loans and scared. What does the future hold for me? Will I get a job? What kind of future will I have? And the media tells us over and over again, this is the new normal. This is as good as it gets. Well, everyone here understands that is not the case. The heart of our economy is not Washington, D.C. The heart of our economy is small businesses all across the United States of America. And if you want to see the economy take off, it's very simple. You lift the boot of the federal government off the back of the necks of small businesses. If I'm elected president, we will repeal every word of Obamacare. We'll pass common sense health care reform that makes health insurance personal and portable and affordable and keeps government from getting in between us and our doctors. And we will pass a simple flat tax. On Monday, it's tax day. Many people in this room will be writing very, very large checks. If I am elected, every one of us will fill out our taxes on a postcard, and we will abolish the IRS. And we're going to rein in the federal regulators that have descended like locusts on small businesses killing jobs all across this country. We're going to stop amnesty, secure the borders, end sanctuary cities, and end welfare benefits for those here illegally. And let me tell you what's going to happen when we do all of that. We're going to see millions and millions of new high-paying jobs coming back to America. We're going to see jobs coming back from Mexico, coming back from China. We're going to see wages rising again for working men and women. We're going to see opportunity growing as young people come out of school with 2, 3, 4, 5 job opportunities. That's what this election is about. Bringing back the opportunity that your parents and my parents had in America, the opportunity for anyone to start with nothing and achieve anything. The second critical issue in this election is freedom. You know, just a few weeks ago, with the passing of Justice Scalia, it underscored the stakes of this election. Our Supreme Court is now perilously balanced, 4-4. The next president will appoint 1, 2, maybe even 3 or 4 Supreme Court justices. If you care about religious liberty, about the freedom of every one of us, Christian and Jew, Muslim and atheist, to practice our faith, to live according to our conscience, free of government getting in the way, this election is pivotal. If you care about the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, this election is pivotal. If you care about preserving U.S. sovereignty from the international court and international law and maintaining the authority of we the people to decide our laws, this election is pivotal. And I give you my solemn commitment that every justice I appoint to the Supreme Court will be a principled constitutionalist who will follow the law, will follow the Constitution, and will not legislate from the bench. And the third critical issue in this election is security. For 7 years, we've seen an administration that abandons our friends and allies and that shows weakness and appeasement to our enemies. 3 years ago, I was at this dinner. If I'd have suggested at this dinner 3 years ago that the elected Prime Minister of Israel would come to the United States, would address a joint session of Congress, and he would be boycotted by the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, and every member of the Cabinet, that would have been laughed at. That could not possibly be true. Surely we were not living in that environment. And yet, as I sat on the floor of the House of Representatives listening to Prime Minister Netanyahu give a speech that was positively Churchillian, neither the President nor the Vice President nor any member of the Cabinet was willing to join us in the House. We have a President who insults and ridicules the Prime Minister of Israel. We have a President who celebrates a nuclear deal with Iran that I believe poses the single gravest threat to our national security of anything in the world. My opponents in this race, all 4 of them, pledged to maintain that Iranian nuclear deal. One of them says he'll renegotiate it. Well, let me be very clear as president, on the very first day in office, I will rip to shreds this catastrophic Iranian nuclear deal. And if you feel a sense of despair, can we keep America safe after 7 years of receding from the world? It is worth remembering that foreign policy perhaps can change the fastest. That in January 1981, this same nation, the nation of Iran, released our hostages the day Ronald Reagan was sworn into office. That's the difference a strong commander-in-chief can make, and that is the difference as president. I will make unequivocally clear to Iran, either they will shut down their nuclear program, or we will shut it down for them. New York City is hallowed ground. It is the site of the worst terrorist attack on United States soil. And yet, in the 15 years since 9/11, many in Washington have forgotten. Today, when we see an attack, whether in Paris, whether in Brussels, whether in San Bernardino, inevitably President Obama goes on national television, refuses to say the words radical Islamic terrorism, and instead lectures the American people on Islamophobia. Well, I want to be clear that come January 2017, our military will no longer be governed by political correctness. And every jihadist on the face of the earth should hearken to these words. If you wage war against the United States of America, if you seek to murder innocent Americans, we are coming to get you. We are not coming to interrogate you. We are not coming to read you your rights. We are coming to kill you. The time for weakness and appeasement is over. Hitler has shown, history has shown, Munich in '38 has shown that giving in to a homicidal maniac and allowing him to develop the weapons of mass murder has catastrophic results. So how do we change the course we're on? What is striking about the men and women here, I think we could find a great deal of common ground on policy, on substance. We understand that our economics, if we lift the burden of Washington, jobs will return. We understand that any chief executive should follow the Constitution and Bill of Rights and not ignore the law if he or she finds it inconvenient. We understand that we need a president who stands with our friends and allies, and I will tell you this, as president, I will stand unapologetically with the nation of Israel. And we understand the need for a strong commander-in-chief with clear eyes as to the threat we face and the willingness and ability to rebuild our military and defeat our enemies. But as the men and women in this room know, none of that matters if we can't win. If we cannot win the election, if Hillary Clinton becomes the next president for 4 or 8 more years, the people of New York know full well what comes from that. And so the question we have to ask collectively is, how do we win? We need a candidate, number one, who can win the primary. If you cannot win the primary, States. In those 11 elections, we have won all 11. It started in the state of Utah, where we won a landslide, won 69% of the votes, won all of the delegates. It went on to North Dakota, where we won 18 delegates and Donald Trump won 1. It then went on to Wisconsin, and you'll recall the media all said over and over again, Cruz cannot win Wisconsin. It's an upper Midwest state, it's an industrial state, it has a relatively small evangelical population, it is a state where Cruz cannot win. Donald Trump, the day before the election, promised a big victory in the state of Wisconsin. And then on election day, we saw yet another landslide victory, 40 as we won among women, we won among men, we won among independents, we won among young people, we won an overwhelming victory. And then this past week, in the state of Colorado, there were a total of 8 elections, electing 34 delegates. In those 8 elections, we won all 8 and won all 34 delegates. We are seeing the party come together. And the choice we face is simple. We either unify or we die. If we remain divided, we will lose. And so I recognize many of the people in this room who started out supporting another candidate. Maybe you started out supporting Jeb Bush. Maybe you started out supporting Marco Rubio or Scott Walker or any of the fantastic candidates who began this race. And yet at this point, those candidates are no longer running. And it is easy for those who were with other candidates who didn't prevail to say, I'm tired. And so I sit back and wait. But if we sit back and wait, in 100 days this nomination will be decided. In 200 days the general election will be over. So I am here tonight to invite you to join our team, to stand as one, to stand united. And let me know, the way we win a general election, right now if you look at the national polls, I'm beating Hillary Clinton in key swing states. I'm beating Hillary Clinton in the state of Ohio. I'm beating Hillary Clinton in the state of Iowa. In the state of Wisconsin, which has not done before, Donald Trump loses by 10 points, and Hillary and I are tied at 44-44. Donald Trump is losing Pennsylvania, and Hillary and I are tied in the general election in the state of Pennsylvania. And among young people, I would encourage you to look at the Fox News poll of 3 weeks ago. In the last 2 elections, Barack Obama won young people 70-30. According to the Fox News poll from 3 weeks